Hello, I'm David Keith of the Ventura County District Attorney's Office. Did you know there's a new type of drug hitting the streets of Ventura County, and the effects to many of our residents, particularly our young people and teens, have been staggering? The term bath salts doesn't necessarily refer to the Epsom salts that you might put into your bath, but rather that term, bath salts, may be referring to a potent drug that is often available for sale at your local convenience store, head shop, or even online. The drugs are often falsely labeled in flashy packaging. A few of the names manufacturers give to the drugs include Spice, K2, Black Magic, Tranquility, and White Rush, among many others. Drugs can be swallowed, snorted, or injected, and the effects can be devastating. The webcast you are about to watch will shed light on this growing problem and highlight what you can do to help make sure your family and friends don't fall victim to this latest craze in the world of synthetic drugs.
Police say this 21-year-old man, Brandon DeLeon, tried to bite an officer in a drug-fueled rage.
You could die from this.
It's called bath salt. Drug counselors and cops say it's the latest rage in the world of synthetic drugs, a world your kids may know too well.
Yeah, you have to imagine these guys surprised working on a Saturday when they look over and a man is standing in their business with not a stitch of clothing on. Well, tonight he's wearing a jail uniform.
This really is his brain on drugs. You remember that old commercial? That's Freddie Sharp. And he has to be tightly restrained by paramedics because he is high on bath salt.
It's being sold in what's called head shops, or in some states it's even being sold in convenience stores.
Police say late last year in Louisiana, a 21-year-old son of a doctor killed himself after ingesting bath salts. In Florida, cops say this woman was high on bath salt when she attacked her mother with a machete.
That people continue to do more and more and more of it to the point where they end up having either suicidal thoughts and in some cases kill themselves.
The new synthetic compounds are so powerful that they're not afraid or they're not hesitant in using force against officers. And because of the violent rage that they have, it becomes a huge danger to us.
A lot of these drugs act as sympathomimetics, so they're going to act as a stimulant. And so you're going to see hypertension, mydriasis, which is dilated pupils, elevated temperature or hyperthermia. You're going to see, perhaps the biggest thing that I notice is the psychotic effects. You'll see combativeness, you'll see hallucinations, paranoia.
Those afflicted by it are literally cooking in their adrenaline-fueled bodies, minutes away from death. Most in these psychotic episodes are overdosing on drugs, and lately increasing numbers.
Sacramento cops take down a suspect.
What's your name?
There are many troubling aspects about bath salts. The packaging of this material makes it look innocent and innocuous. Yet we know from our experience that the consequences of taking bath salts can be disastrous. Literally one use can cause brain damage and in some cases death.
I've noticed over the last 2 years that calls for service regarding these types of calls or these types of drugs have increased dramatically, especially within the last year, I would say. The majority of the calls you'll get is someone running naked in the street due to the internal heat within the body heats up when you're on these bath salts, similar to ecstasy.
So sometimes these patients that come in with bath salt abuse are so psychotic that we truly think they have a new psychiatric diagnosis, and we have to put them on a psychiatric hold. And they get sent off to a psychiatric facility where they're essentially placed in permanent treatment till we can figure out what's going on. And they're placed on what we call a 5150, which is an involuntary hold, so they cannot leave. So it's that severe that we have to have a crisis team come in and evaluate them.
This man says he makes a ton of money by making and distributing bath salts.
For this year, I don't know exactly, but I know we're over $250,000.
If you're selling bath salts, you're going to be treated the same way as if you were selling methamphetamine. That's a felony, and it's the sale of methamphetamine or, in this case, bath salts. You'll face jail time, a probation period, or depending on your criminal history, we can send you to prison for that.
What was going on in that video? What was happening to you?
It was a very scary thing, actually, because I was hallucinating about being in a mental institution, in an insane asylum, basically. I felt all kinds of crazy.
This raises a new fear level in me, I have to say. This is for me, is almost like a science fiction episode where someone makes a very dangerous molecule and it's released into the public.
The powder is mostly snorted, creating a euphoria or rush that comes with dangerous side effects.
This stuff destroys the human brain. I remember, I might be dating myself, when cocaine was big in the 80s and they talked about how it was going to destroy your nose. And methamphetamine came along, and, meth was, 10 times worse than cocaine. Now that we're in the synthetic age, this stuff is 20, 30 times worse than methamphetamine.
It's known for causing psychotic snaps, drug-induced psychosis, violent behaviors, agitation, high levels of anxiety and paranoia.
YouTube video shows drug users on bad trips, many of them high on a drug called bath salts.
If you were to take methamphetamine, PCP, combine these together with the hallucinogenic and the stimulant properties, that's pretty much what we're up against.
Drug experts say it's highly addictive and makes users feel superhuman.
We're talking about designer drugs that are giving a name that looks innocent so that they can be sold over the counter without any repercussions.
One point for parents to be vigilant about is it is not uncommon for the packaging to contain the phrase, "not for human consumption." The reason that manufacturers use that phrase is because they have been told that it allows them to circumvent the law. But it is a good indication that something is bath salts when it's packaged in an appealing package with an appealing name that says "not for human consumption."
Parents should be concerned because this is not a sale that's happening in an alleyway, a back alleyway, where people are having street-level deals. This is being sold out of stores, retail stores, such as smoke shops, places that sell marijuana bongs and things of that nature, sold at gas stations, and they'll be sold even at record and music stores. So it's sold publicly, and I think parents should be concerned about that.
Just to show how easy it is for anyone to get the drug, the parents of this 16-year-old agreed to let her order a batch online. On the website, the brands have catchy names like Ivory Wave, Purple Wave, Bliss, and Ocean Burst. Just days later, the drugs arrived from England to our NBC 10 studios.
With bath salts, we're seeing usually anywhere from 20s to maybe mid-30s.
My advice to parents, one is have an open, honest conversation with your child. And, if they're receiving packages in the mail, you probably want to be aware of what's coming in. If they have, if they're purchasing incense and potpourri and there's these things laying in their room, there's a high probability that they or their friends could be abusing bath salts.
If a parent finds something that does look like candy with a name such as similar to an energy drink, you should be concerned and take a second look because this might not be what it appears. A lot of bath salts are being marketed to the younger generation.
Just this morning, I Googled buy bath salts online, and there was over 2 million hits.
I know the one thing that you absolutely have to do, it's imperative, is get involved with your children. You have to, if you suspect that your child is on drugs, that child is on drugs. You just have to trust your instincts and your suspicions. You know your child better than anybody else.
When they're using it, they're not eating at all, sometimes for up to a week at a time. So you're going to be seeing a kid who's having dramatic weight loss, who's not sleeping, and who is extremely and disproportionately irritable.
Experts say the symptoms will only get worse because users just can't stop.
It's very addictive because of the way it impacts the brain.
And so parents need to be mindful of these dangerous bath salts and be very conscientious in stopping these from coming into their home, stopping these from coming into their child's possession.
We've been seeing an increase of synthetic marijuana, which is often referred to as spice, in the community. And this is literally just the tip of the iceberg.
We limit people to buying cigarettes. They have to be 18 years old. a 9-year-old can walk into these head shops and buy this stuff. As parents get involved in that, believe me when I tell you, you're saving your child's life. There's no ifs, ands, or buts about that.
I hope this webcast has shed some light on this significant problem and made you more aware of the dangers we face as bath salts and other synthetic drugs become more prevalent in our county. Pay particular attention to the warning signs we highlighted in this video, and call the authorities if you see any kind of drug abuse taking place. With your help, we can make a difference. Stay informed, stay protected. I'm David Keith. Thanks for watching.